What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the channel, and you are in for a treat. What's about to happen is I'm gonna have a convo with my man Tommy from City on My Chest, all the way up in Virginia, and he's gonna tell you guys and share with you how he's been able to open up his first store location, how he's been able to scale up his online. So if you're in the process of scaling your brand or rebranding your brand, you are in the perfect place. What I need you to do is make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, run us up. Don't forget, we're gonna be giving a lucky subscriber or brand owner $1,000 to invest in your business. But what I need you to do is make sure you click the link inside of the description and sign up to register for that giveaway. Without further ado, let's go get straight into that video. See y'all later.
This brain picked this idea for a reason. God put this in my head for a reason. And I'll never be able not to handle a situation, even though sometimes they do get challenging. So for me, ultimately, for anybody trying to be an entrepreneur, I said, yo, first thing you gotta do is jump off the porch. And you're gonna find out real quick. And it's okay if it ain't for you. It's no problem being a number 2 or a number 3. But if you really want to go on this journey, you know, you got to be 10 toes down.
Can you give somebody that's watching this, like, from all of those trials and tribulations that you learned, like what they should be doing to really be able to take their brand past $100,000? What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Marlon Watts, co-owner and CEO of WRLDINVSN, and we got another special, like a three-part series, like number three. Welcome, my man Tommy, City on My Chest from the VA.
VA in the building, 7-5, Newport News.
Newport News, where a lot of legends definitely come from in that area. Was something special? Well, for one, for people who may not know like who you are and what you do, can you explain, you know, who you are, what your brand is, what it represents, and, like, you know, just give them some type of inspiration on it.
Absolutely. What's up, world? Like Marlon said, my name is Tommy Reeman. I'm the owner of City on My Chest, a community-based brand out of Virginia. We generate an emotional connection through fashion by using community activism to uplift and empower, you know, communities worldwide. And it's an honor and privilege to be back, you know, on the pod for the three-peat.
For the three-peat, perfect. So really, man, I just want to have a high-level conversation with you. It's been a minute just to catch up and really just inspire the people that's watching this video, because so many people, you know, come to the channel for gems, for tips. And I mean, you done pretty much did it all, from, you know, opening up the stores, from going crazy online, having sellout drops, impacting the community, like through community engagements. And that's one of the real big things I want to hit on as well inside this podcast, like how important the community engagement is to growing your brand where you actually are. But can you just speak about, you know, some of the things that you've been through inside of your brand process when getting started?
Community validation is what gave me my backbone to the brand. You can have all the cool designs, you know, the drip, but do you have people that really follow and believe in you, and not just you, the message? And I think City on My Chest, we walk in our purpose. We're heavily involved with the youth. You know, CITY City is creatively inspiring the youth. And I think we live that and show that, from the school system to youth sports. And I think I was doing that even before I started the brand. So when I put a logo to it, you know, it made sense.
Gotcha. And how did y'all, you know, even come with the name, you know, City on My Chest?
It was a process. As you know, picking a name can make or break, some say. And, you know, I really let the brand start before I even had a name. And it came to me one day. I was on the phone with, you know, somebody in my circle trying to think of a name, and he kept repeating, like, we putting the city on our chest. We out here putting the city on our chest. And it was kind of unorthodox, but I said, yo, that's it. And he said, what? And I said, City on My Chest. And I like it because it creates a question. When you read it for the first time, you don't know what it is. And it's a question starter. So a lot of times people stop me and like, yo, what is City on My Chest? And I gladly tell them every single time, you know, who we are and what we represent.
Speak about the big, you know, festival that you did every year, you know, what that been able to do, how that's been able to impact, and ultimately, like, how doing events like that, like, help your brand grow. How did that translate into sales?
Absolutely. So you referring to City Fest?
Correct.
We're on year number 5, and which started as a birthday cookout that I didn't have my paperwork right with the city, and they told me to do an event like you're trying to do, we need 60 days in advance. So it went from my birthday being in August, was just passed, to pushing it to October. And with those 2 months of planning, I said, you know what, forget a birthday cookout. Let's do this really for the brand. Because I was going to be present with the brand at my cookout, but let's make it about the brand. And that's how City Fest was created. And a lot of times people discover me for the first time for my festival. And that's a great first impression when you walk in and you see, you know, the pop-ups and the arch and my flags. And it's kind of like, yo, like, what is this? And they see the work that we do, they see the merch, and they kind of fall in love. And we get a new customer, you know. Y'all put me on to how important acquiring customers are. And that's a great first impression to create a lasting, you know, customer for a lifetime.
Really want to get into, because like people watching this, bro, because they want to make sales with their brand. They want their brand to go up. Like we awarded you a 10K award, you know, and from, you know, doing 10K inside of months.
100K.
100K. You got 10K.
Come on. Yeah, come on, man. You gave me the 100K joint.
The 100K.
Yeah.
100K.
Yeah.
And we could put that picture on here. Like, so taking all that into consideration, like even when you first joined the program, you know, you were saying you wasn't even doing sales online as much. And that was one thing you really wanted to work on. Like, can you give somebody that's watching this, like, from all of those trials and tribulations that you learned, like what they should be doing to really be able to take their brand past $100,000?
I think for me, being, you know, physical, being present was a game changer for me. That experience of coming in and talking to me, getting a feel for the brand, you know, well, ultimately with the community work that we was doing, it set me apart. And I think me doubling down, really buying into like, this is what I do, this is who I am. And I know some people may have to work another job to fund it, but for me, I said, yo, this is who I am, this is what I'm going to do. And everything that I put out my mouth, you've seen on your phone, the content, it was sitting on my chest. And we was pumping it. How can I be, you know, what's hot? You know, what the kids wearing? Like, I'm paying attention. I'm going into schools. I spent time as a substitute teacher, so that was like a cheat code. So I'm in class getting feedback, like, yo, what y'all want? What y'all, like, know what I mean? And they saying, yo, if you do this, it'll go crazy. And I drop it, and like, it came true. So me just really doubling down into my community and doubling down to my passion behind this brand of saying like, yo, watching other brands run it up, I said, this gonna be me. I don't want to do nothing else but sitting on my chest. And it was like tunnel vision. And the next thing I know, after staying down, you start peeking around and you really built the brand that people recognize, not just in Virginia, up and down the East Coast and, you know, out West. Yeah. So for me, it was kind of just that mindset shift that you always talk about. I said, for me, sitting on my chest is going to be everything I breathe. And then finding people that believe in that and surrounding yourself with them.
Like, how pivotal was like getting in the mall? Because so many times we teach, you know, go out, like it's a process. You go from the backpack method to the pop-up shop and festivals. Then you got, you know, you want to make sales every single day with your brand. So from there is, but like either getting a kiosk, opening up a store, mobile. It really don't matter how you get the sales, you know, every single day. But how did your brand transition when you got inside the mall and opened up every single day pretty much?
It went from me just being buzzing on IG to people really seeing like, yo, he right across from Chick-fil-A. He right beside, I was in the food court too. And we know if you go to the mall, one place you probably gonna go through 100%. Is the food court. 100%. So the visibility was crazy. Literally, Chick-fil-A had a line that'd be down the whole mall and people would be looking like, what's this sitting on my chest store? And once they come through the doors, I got you. I got my pitch. I got my presentation. And instantly, you know, I'm winning them over. Whether they supporting right then or they doubling back or coming to an event, it really gave me that validation that, you know, sitting on my chest isn't just one of these brands that, you know, somebody just thought about real quick and just trying to make a couple dollars. You know, I was truly invested. And when you invest in your product, it shows.
Nah, real talk. And it goes to, you know, show the care that y'all put into y'all brand. Like, you know, when you come in, you know, it's clean, it's neat, like it's organized. It's not just, you know, you got logos on the hangers. You know, you presenting your brand at a high level. And so that also shows, and people support that. And they see that you taking the money and you investing in the brand to continue to grow it and give them the experience that you want them to have through your brand. So my next thing is just like, can you explain to me like what the processes and the systems and the mindset that, you know, you had, let's say doing, you know, less than $10,000 a month, and then what was that new mindset of that new person or those systems or processes that you did implement once you got past that level? Like,
yeah, it's funny that, you know, listening to you guys with me already having some early success, it was kind of like early on, it's like I hear Nick and Marlon, but I'm already running it up my way. And truth be told, it was like I had some crazy months and then it would slow down. And when it slows down, you kind of looking around like, what happened? And next thing I know, your voice will pop in my head like, hey, bro, I'm giving you the blueprint. Like, yo, you got something crazy going, but truth be told, this is the foundation to stay consistent and really run it up and keep it going up instead of having a 80K month and then you come back with a 15K month. And you like, yo, hold on, I thought we was out of here. I thought, the brand was gonna be 100, 200. So really building in and finding out like, okay, I need to start with my why all the time. And just because I'm in the area where people know me, that's cool and all. That was a great start. But what about the people that don't know me? I need those sales too. It ain't just gonna come from Newport News, Hampton residents. I want sales all around the world. So really, even with all the success I had, I said, yo, I still need to double down on all my steps. And slowly but surely listening, going through the checklist that y'all gave me, it really started catching it up. And I'm like, oh, now I got something cooking that I think I'm a force to be reckoned with.
And man, when we got the opportunity to come out, and see your store, see your operation. We did a community event that we did, so that was like super cool. Even the event that was at the store, I mean, we probably had like 30, 40 people that came to that event and like showed out. And one thing that I noticed when we was there was that you were starting to actually build out some of those processes. So can you like let me know what process it was that was able to like really boost up the effective and efficiency of what you was doing at the store? Like what was something that was like, oh dang, I can't believe we didn't have this in place, and when we put this in place, everything else started to flow a little bit smoother.
Yeah, so what's crazy is you don't know what you don't know, because you're doing something and it's working and you're seeing some success, but then it's kind of the unknown once it starts slowing down. So literally I got back to the basics. And like I said, even with just starting with my why, which is something that y'all push so heavily that I was missing early on. I'm thinking like, okay, you know who I am. I'm popular in this area, had some time successful on the football field. Yeah, it's me, baby, come shop. And I'm like, nah, it don't work that way. It's like, yo, let's get back to ground zero as if nobody knows who City on My Chest is. And that's what I started doing. So I started with my why. And then I had my team members pushing that why as well. Because when I'm not around, they are a representation of the brand. So I can't have the brand sounding, looking good when I'm there, but then when E-Rock in there, it's a major drop off. And having that customer service. When you come into City on My Chest, I used to point across to Chick-fil-A and say, hey, we want to feel good. We want the customers to feel good when they come in here. So creating that experience separated me. Not just the product, but having people saying, yo, when I went by City, it was love. They chopped it up with me. They gave me the background. That's somewhere I want to come back. That's somewhere I want to bring my kids. And it felt good for the family. We all know some stores out there that, I can go into, but I ain't going to bring my kids in there. Yep. City on My Chest was that family environment. And ultimately, I think that came back, tenfold.
Gotcha. And, you spoke about your team. Like, people that's watching this, you either have a team or you don't. So for my people that don't have a team, how important is it to be able to find people that can, invest in and see the same vision and come, able to give their time and energy towards, something that they may not even own?
You guys taught me, don't work in your business, work on your business. And for me, building a team was brand new. And I had no clue what I was doing, but I knew I had to do it. I had to free myself so now I could work on the marketing. Now I can go out and make partnerships. And now I'm outside in the city building a brand, but yet we're still, building sales. So I was fortunate enough to start with 3 or 4 people, but for a lot of us, we may need to just start with 1. And to be honest, that's all you really need to get started. If it could just free you up a little bit to start growing the brand, I think you'll start seeing the results. But you gotta, it's how many employees you guys been through? Probably
300 plus 400.
You gotta realize it's not a marriage, and people gonna come and go.
Yep.
So for me, I wanted everybody to be invested the same level
that you
are. And you used to always say like, yo, they not the owner, you are. If you want them to be invested, give them the same money that it don't work like that. So, for us, Virginia was paying $15 an hour, and sometimes you got to realize that's what you're going to get. And it's on me to find out what they do well and put them in winning, situations, and understanding if it don't work, we may have to move our separate ways. But I was fortunate enough to build a team that was truly invested and believed in the mission. And not only inside the store, that was willing to come outside the store and do events and do pop-ups and give back to the kids. So I challenge people, find that person. And like I said, it only starts with 1. And once you get that 1, you start looking for the second one. And it may take some time, but it's okay. You know, it's a marathon, and everybody ain't meant to go on this journey.
Nah,
But
real
when you
talk.
find somebody, I think, you know, you'll feel it that match makes sense.
Nah, real talk. And I would say, like, what's the struggles of having a team? Like everybody, you because we touched about a team, we're gonna help you, you're gonna be able to start doing this and that. But what's like the actual when you peel back the lid on having a team, it sound good, but what's under the hood?
Nobody's gonna care as much as you. People also got lives outside of the brand. There may be times where people may steal from you. There may be times where they can't come to work, and the reason's not really up to par with what you would like. And understanding that it's on me, it's still on my back to find a way to make it work. And people gonna come and people gonna go. But ultimately, you still need these team members to get to where you wanna go. So I've learned empathy, to, you know, learning to deal with people over the years. But at the same time, you know, my hard no is a hard no on certain things. Certain things you gotta stand on. But also sometimes I would sit back and be like, was I being too hard? Do I need to be more open and communicate with them and see what they're thinking? So dealing with people is like a relationship. You know, for everybody that's in a relationship in the world, you know, having employees is very similar to, you know, sharing life with a partner. It's gonna be some things y'all agree on, and there's definitely gonna be some things y'all disagree on. But ultimately, are we still moving towards the common goal of the brand?
Do you feel like you was a good boss?
I do. And it's funny when people ask me that, I let my team members answer. And I also learned that from you. I be listening, not employees, they team members. And I felt like when I made that, you know, transition in worship, they valued that more because they feel a part. And it's not, I would say it's not I, it's we. And they like that as well. Like, okay, Tommy see us as part of the whole, like part of the team that, you know, if this thing grow, we all growing. You know, we out of here, baby. You know, I would love to build $1 billion brand and start with the original team members, if that could happen. But we all know, you know, that may not be, you know, the perfect story. But for me, I would love to grow with the people that's already with me. And for me, I think I got a good core group.
And that's what's up. I mean, honestly, before we really just wrap up, what is the struggles of really being an entrepreneur, being a boss, being a leader, being somebody that people gotta really like count on to like make some stuff happen? Like you said, like what is the pressure of that? How that make you feel?
The pressure is extreme, but I think I'm built for that. You know, being a former athlete, I played quarterback. You know, I compare entrepreneurship and athletics. You know, it's a lot of comparable results at the end of the day. And for me, people depended on me on that football team. My family depend on me. My employees depend on me. But ultimately, I don't put no more pressure than I put on myself. I expect everybody to hold me to that standard. And for me, I think that no matter what I do, I got myself. And sometimes I'm looking at the ceiling at night, wondering like, what have I gotten myself into? But I also remember why I started. And for me, I think that ultimately gets me back to my, you know, being determined, that grind, that grit, to remember that, yo, this brain picked this idea for a reason. God put this in my head for a reason. And I'll never be able not to handle a situation, even though sometimes they do get challenging. So for me, ultimately, for anybody trying to be an entrepreneur, I say, yo, first thing you gotta do is jump off the porch. And you're gonna find out real quick. And it's okay if it ain't for you. It's no problem being a number 2 or a number 3. But if you really wanna go on this journey, you know, you gotta be 10 toes down, and you're gonna get punched in the chin, not once, but over and over.
In the 12-round fight.
Man, what? Like,
Hey,
it's real.
I got this, just last thing. 3 things that, you know, you like, man, don't make these mistakes. I made it, get past this. I'm $100,000 a month. What is it?
Finances. Start by keeping those separate. A lot of times when you got that same account going out, you know, things get funny and you don't really know how you
business and personal.
Business and personal, yes, sir. Keep those separate. And because when it starts to grow, you really want to know where you're at, what we're doing. And early on, money was coming in. I'm like, oh, we up. I figured that out later. And I'm looking at my books, and it's a lot of gray area. I truly don't know what was doing well, what wasn't, how much money we really made. I knew it was positive because, you know, I had more money than I started with, but I truly don't know, you know, what was going where, what was allocated. So I challenge everybody, keep your finances separate. Get on QuickBooks. That's a great platform to start. Get on QuickBooks. Second of all, do your homework. You know, I was somebody that jumped off the porch and really, I didn't have a Marlon or a Nick to give me game when I first started. So for me, I took a lot of bumps that I felt like I could have avoided if I just would have did my homework. But luckily for me, it wasn't enough to sink the ship. But I felt like now it's like with all the resources and all the people out here giving game, go on the internet and find out who's killing it in your industry and study, because success leaves clues.
Yes, sir.
And last but not least, be confident, show up. I think a lot of times we start doubting ourselves. And I feel like, yo, you are who you are for a reason. And nobody's gonna believe in your brand if you don't believe in your brand. And I still wear City like nobody knows about it. And I still think about my first sale laughing in my face. And now look at me. Imagine if I would have listened, where would I be? So before the world gonna believe in you, you gotta believe in you.
Hey, making hundreds of thousands of dollars from product, impacting hundreds of thousands of people from Virginia to around the world. My boy Tommy, how can they like catch up with your brand, support you?
City on my chest on all platforms. Instagram, Twitter, website www.cityonmychest.com. Hit us up. I'm an open book. I love to connect with people and looking forward to, getting this message out to the world.
Hey, let's do it. Hey, but before we leave, I also want to give you a copy of my book, The Underdog. So you definitely got to check this out. It's about, defining the odds and creating your own path to success. And really just covering my story and, how sports allowed us to, be successful also in business. And, a big thing then when I was doing my brand was selling product inside the locker rooms and stuff like that. My coach retweeted one of my posts. The NCAA ended up seeing that, ended up getting pretty much suspended for the remainder of that year. It's my senior year because that was illegal back then to have a brand, your coach promote you like that. Like, this is a new thing. Name, image, and likeness is a new thing. I had to prove that I was doing the brand before I actually was even in college or even got a scholarship, but we was already doing it back then. So we had to submit a paperwork, and I got reinstated, started back. I couldn't even go to the facility type stuff. Yeah, crazy.
Crazy.
Nah, crazy. So all that's inside of here. I want to give you a copy, and if you're watching this, go ahead inside the link inside the description and go grab your copy as well. But I appreciate you, man. We about to go to Magic. So about to go to Magic. We're going to see some manufacturers, going connect with the community. And make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, run us up, send this video to, an entrepreneur that may, really resonate with this message that you just heard. Kick the link inside the description, get inside the community if you haven't. Going crazy, can't stop, won't stop. We out, baby.